My name is Parrot, and I am 19 years old. I live in Dousman, Wisconsin, which is a small town in the southeastern part of the state. The area around Dousman is pretty flat, lots of agricultural area, a lot of forest as well, a lot of trees. I'm kind of on the outskirts of town, and we live by a millpond, and our house is surrounded by cornfields and forests. During the fall that's my favorite time on our property because there's a lot of oak trees and maples, and it's beautiful and colorful. Winter, it is cold. It's Wisconsin, so it's cold, but also pretty. The forests are gorgeous when there's so much snow. During the spring, things are loud. There's a lot of birds and wildlife and everything. And in the summer, it's beautiful and green. I've lived here my entire life, until I went to college, so I lived here for 18 years. I had a really good childhood. I don't know how happy average children are, but I would say I was probably above average happy. I loved growing up in such a rural area. I think it's been a huge part of who I am. I've especially noticed since I moved to the city. My best friend and I, when we were young, we used to spend a ton of time outside and just in the woods. We climbed a lot of trees, a lot by the pond especially. We wove these reed mats out of cattail reeds, and we hung them in the trees to dry. We made leaf piles, a lot of leaf piles. When we were younger, the corn was always the best year. They do rotation farming on that field. The corn was a ton of fun. We would play hide and seek in it. We would play tag in it, which is challenging and really scary. It was a really nice place to be in. I really enjoyed having that space that was kind of my own. It was kind of a really different childhood from a lot of the people I've met at school, and I feel really lucky that I had so much space. The town is going through kind of an expansion process, or it was, before the housing crisis hit. Especially down at the end of the street. This was a really rural area, and we didn't get a lot of traffic or anything. And a few years ago, there was a big push to add a lot of housing to our area. Recent developments are, the Pines, there's the Preserve, Pabst Farms, Moraine Hills. It's sort of surrounding the entire town, so I would say it's pretty widespread and extensive. My dad always jokes that they put the name they choose for the development is what they replaced with the development. So like in the Pines, there are no pine trees. It's what they paved over in order to make the pines. When I first heard about the development, I was still in high school. I might have even been in late middle school, and I was really concerned because I liked growing up in an area with so few people. We have been getting more traffic, and it's definitely a busier area now. And although I don't live there, when I come home, I notice it. I think for a kid growing up in my area now, things would be very different than they were for me. I can't pass judgment on whether their childhoods would have been worse than mine, but I know that I wouldn't have liked having more traffic and more people and less room. I wouldn't have changed anything about my childhood if I could, especially not the area I grew up in. And I think kids right now would have a very different experience from the one I had 18 years ago.